if I told you that one of the most important motorcycles in the world isn't a superbike, isn't a luxury touring machine, and doesn't even crack 100 kilometers per hour in a sprint? Instead, it's a modest, almost humble machine that quietly saves lives, carries farmers' loads, and conquers some of the harshest terrains on Earth. That motorcycle is the Yamaha AG100. And for 2026, it's still here, still serving, and still surprising us. And stick with me until the end, because I've got a story about how this little bike is literally changing lives in ways no superbike ever could. Welcome back, friends, to Z Auto Advisor. Today, we're not talking about chrome, carbon fiber, or blistering top speeds. We're talking about resilience, toughness, and reliability in the form of the 2026 Yamaha AG100. This isn't a machine for bragging rights. It's a machine for doing the job, day in and day out, no matter how tough the environment. The AG series, short for agricultural, is Yamaha's line of workhorse motorcycles. The AG100 first rolled out decades ago with one mission: to provide reliable, affordable transport for farmers, rural workers, and anyone who needed a bike to work harder than it played. Unlike sleek sport bikes or bulky adventure tourers, the AG100 was stripped down and functional. Big luggage racks, wide foot pegs, and reinforced components made it ready for mud, rough roads, and even river crossings. Farmers loved it because it could carry tools, fuel cans, or even livestock feed. NGOs and aid agencies loved it because it could access areas where four-wheel drives simply couldn't. For Yamaha, the AG100 became more than just another motorcycle. It became a symbol of service and reliability. And now, in 2026, the bike remains relevant in parts of the world where infrastructure is still developing and practicality outweighs luxury. Let's be real. The AG100 isn't going to win any beauty contests. It's not sculpted for aerodynamic efficiency or styled to wow cafe crowds. But every nut and bolt on this bike serves a purpose. The frame is simple, rugged steel, easy to repair and resistant to abuse. The bodywork is minimal, reducing the number of fragile plastics that could break in a fall. Large rear and front carriers provide space to strap down bags, crates, or even sacks of grain. The seat is wide and comfortable, built for long hours, sometimes with 2 riders plus cargo. Ground clearance is high enough to tackle rough trails. While the suspension is basic but tough, no fancy electronics to fail when you're miles from the nearest workshop. In short, the AG100 is a tool, not a toy. Its looks are secondary to its purpose. Now let's talk about what's under the seat. The AG100 is powered by a 97cc air-cooled 2-stroke engine. Yes, you heard that right. In 2026, this bike still proudly carries a 2-stroke motor, something you hardly see in road bikes anymore. Why? Because 2-strokes are simple, torquey, and easy to maintain. The engine produces around 8.5 horsepower at 6,250 RPM and about 9.8 Newton-meters of torque at 6,000 RPM. Doesn't sound like much, right? But that's more than enough to carry a rider and cargo through dirt, sand, and gravel at steady speeds. A 5-speed gearbox keeps it versatile, while a simple kickstart mechanism means you'll never be stranded with a dead battery. The 11-liter fuel tank offers excellent range, thanks to the bike's efficient design and lightweight frame. This isn't a motorcycle built for speed. It's built for trustworthiness. Riders know that even when the conditions get tough, the AG100's little engine will keep going. The AG100's suspension is as old school as it gets, but that's a good thing here. Front telescopic forks, basic but sturdy. Rear, twin shock absorbers that can handle heavy loads. Brakes, drum brakes at both ends, not fancy discs, but perfect for environments where maintenance is scarce. Tires narrow, tall profile tires designed to cut through mud and grip loose gravel. At just over 100 kilograms wet weight, the AG100 is light enough for riders to push, pull, or even lift when the terrain demands it. Seat height is a manageable 800 millimeter, making it accessible to riders of all sizes. Handling is predictable and forgiving. This isn't a bike for carving corners. It's a bike for staying upright when the track turns into a muddy riverbed. Here's where the AG100 shines. Imagine you're a farmer needing to carry fencing supplies out to the back of your property, or a health worker trying to deliver medicine to a remote village, or even just someone living in a place where the roads are little more than goat tracks. The AG100 is designed for these exact situations. Its racks carry supplies, its engine sips fuel, and its ruggedness means fewer breakdowns. It's easy to fix with basic tools, often just a spanner, screwdriver, and pliers. Fuel efficiency is strong, and because it's air-cooled with minimal electronics, it's less likely to suffer complex failures. In many ways, it's the motorcycle equivalent of a reliable workhorse donkey, steady, dependable, and always ready. Now let's move beyond specs. Here's the part that sets the AG100 apart from almost every other motorcycle: its role in global health and aid work. Through programs like Riders for Health, Yamaha AG100s are deployed in Africa and other developing regions to deliver vaccines, medical supplies, and even doctors to remote areas. These are places where ambulances and trucks can't reach, but a lightweight, durable motorcycle can. Think about that for a moment. While most bikes are used for recreation or commuting, the AG100 is literally a life-saving tool. For many communities, seeing the AG100 roll up means access to healthcare that would otherwise be impossible. This is why Yamaha continues to produce and update the bike. Its role is too important to let it fade away. Of course, no motorcycle is perfect, and the AG100 has its limits. It's not powerful, so don't expect to blast down highways. Drum brakes mean less stopping power compared to modern disc setups. The ride is basic and bumpy compared to modern suspension. Being a two-stroke, it doesn't meet emissions standards in many regions. But here's the thing: for its intended environment, none of these are deal breakers. In fact, simplicity is a feature. Disc brake that needs special pads or fluid isn't much good if you're 300 kilometers from the nearest mechanic. A fuel-injected engine with sensors won't last long if the parts aren't available locally. The AG100's limits are exactly what make it fit for purpose. By 2026, Yamaha hasn't reinvented the wheel with the AG100, but there are some smart refinements. Better materials for durability, slightly improved emissions to meet stricter guidelines, and perhaps updated ergonomics for rider comfort. But at its heart, the bike hasn't changed, and that's deliberate. Yamaha knows the AG100's buyers don't want flashy tech. They want the same reliability that's kept this machine alive for decades. Remember I promised you a surprise? Here it is. While you and I might see the AG100 as just a utility bike, in many countries this machine is literally considered part of the healthcare system. Aid workers in Africa often refer to it as the lifeline bike, because without it, entire villages would have no access to vaccines, clean water projects, or even emergency response. So while the world obsesses over horsepower wars and high-tech dashboards, the humble AG100 quietly keeps people alive. That's a legacy few motorcycles can match. If you're a rider in a developed city with paved roads, the AG100 probably isn't your dream bike. But if you're in agriculture, in rural areas, or running deliveries where reliability matters more than style, it's hard to beat. It's also a great choice for organizations that need a fleet of low-maintenance, dependable machines. The AG100 isn't just affordable, it's nearly indestructible. As we wrap up, let's step back. The 2026 Yamaha AG100 isn't going to star in glossy magazine spreads. It won't set YouTube on fire with drag races or top speed runs. But it represents something more valuable: practicality, service, and resilience. It's a motorcycle that understands its mission and executes it without fuss. And in a world chasing luxury and speed, sometimes the most impressive machines are the ones that simply get the job done. This has been the Auto Advisor, bringing you not just reviews of exciting bikes, but stories of the ones that truly matter. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the AG100, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. And tell me in the comments, would you ever own a bike like this, or do you think motorcycles should only be about style and speed?